Thank you for tuning into our seller interview series. Up today, we've got a digital product and SaaS business package for sale in the internet marketing niche. Created in December 2015, this business makes $5,599 per month in net profit, and the listing number for the site is 43940. We do these interviews to give potential buyers more information about both the seller and the sites they're looking to purchase. We hope these insights are helpful for you in making a buying decision. We've got the seller with us today to go through the business and cover everything from niche selection to traffic and monetization. How are you doing today, Andres?
Very good, thank you.
Where are you calling in from today? Thank you for making the time.
Florida.
Florida, myself as well.
Oh, awesome.
I live in Orlando.
I'm up near Jacksonville.
Very nice. I was there just about a month ago. So it's a very pretty town.
Yes.
Before we dive into the questions that I have for you, I want to go ahead and run through a quick summary of the business. Again, it was built in December of 2015, has a monthly revenue of $6,789, expenses of $1,189 to make for a net profit of $5,599, which is generated on a 12-month average. Included in the sale of this business are 3 domain names, site content and files, email list, and 2 Facebook accounts. Andres, can you tell us a little bit about your background in building and running online businesses?
I've been doing this for a long time. I was, right before the call here, I was kind of looking to see when I actually did my first flip. It was through Flippa, and this was back in December 2011 was the first website I ever flipped. But before then, I had been building websites that just happened to be one of the ones that, when I took the affiliate approach to it, and I think that was an AdSense website. So since 2011, I've been building particular kind of sites, and I've actually done a few flips through you guys as well. I think 2 or 3 different websites where, they're just kind of passive money makers. And, ever since then, I've just been pumping out more sites and, kind of trying to whatever program or anything I can join that's passive income and I can use it for my sites. That's what I try to focus on.
So how'd you come up with the idea to start this business?
Well, the business started as a twofold thing. The plugin that we've got for sale, bundled in with the SaaS app, actually started being sold before December 2015. The SaaS app has started in December 2015. But before that, what the plugin was just basically a program that we coded just for myself that I use to create these websites. So I've got a specific type of website that, the way that I build them. And so the plugin allowed me to build those types of websites. And, I just figured that as I was getting these results with the websites and doing well, that it would benefit other people to have access to it. So that's where the plugin kind of came about. And then the app, the SaaS app, was developed basically as a way to, once again, kind of help myself manage everything. I got to the point where I just had so much stuff going on at once that I was kind of losing control of everything. I was losing my mind. I had spreadsheets everywhere, data everywhere, and it wasn't, there wasn't one simple place to kind of gather all that information. So that's where that came about, and why I developed that, mainly, like I said, just for myself. And I figured, if it's helpful for me, then some of our other users might find it useful as well, and that's how I was able to offer it to them for sale.
You've mentioned that a lot of the other businesses and websites that you've created are generally pretty passive, generating passive income. Is this one also pretty passive?
Yeah. Once it was set up, the original coding, there's a lot of coding that went into it. There was a lot of programming because it's, there's just basically what I ended up was I incorporated everything that I do, from start to finish for a website. I incorporated into the, this one app. And so I needed to get all that all coded into it and all the different functions. There's a lot of things that needed to go to basically make it, kind of like click button simple is what my idea was, that I could easily, if I wanted to, sit on my phone, click a few buttons and, develop the type of websites that I've been developed for a long time that normally would take me, sometimes a couple hours or so to get up and running. And so I chunked it all down to this application. And that took a long time to kind of, get going, get it all set up, get everything working. But once it was up and running, and it has been for over the past 2 years, it just, it just kind of runs itself. There's not much that needs to do it. You don't have to do much with it as far as every now and then, one of our services that we use will kind of, change up the API codes or something like that. And you'll have to go up there and make some updates. But other than that, it kind of runs on its own.
So if it's really passive and runs on its own, has been making money for you for a couple of years now, why are you selling it?
Couple of reasons really. I've wanted to, I've always explored the idea of trying to get out of the being in the, I guess, like the face of the scene. I've always enjoyed just building my own websites. And when I started selling the product and started selling the app, I kind of, became kind of seen almost like a guru to the people that are buying it, which was nice. But at the same time, I kind of lost my appeal for, learning more. I love testing. I love testing Google and seeing what I can get away with. And I had, kind of sort of lost that a little bit. So that's one of the reasons why I figured, I could keep the app going, selling it. Somebody else will take over and develop it and do much better things with it. But I can kind of go back into my little just builder mode and just focus on my websites and I have to, be the kind of the forefront of, people kind of always looking up for information as to how to build the sites and that kind of thing, because it can take some time if you are active in the Facebook groups and you're active in the chats and you're active out there joining all the different communities that there are for online marketing, just to kind of get your name out there. That can take some time to where I didn't have as much time that I liked to build my own network of sites, which makes me the bulk of my income. The other reason is, I just felt like, having a fresh pair of eyes, somebody new coming in would be able to do some pretty amazing stuff with it. And, I feel like I got a little stale, in the development cycle as far as, I added the features that I wanted to have and, selfishly just kind of stopped there. But I know that there's a lot more that can be done with it. So I'm just looking for someone that's willing to kind of take it to the next level. And, I've done this a couple times. It's not my first flip. So this is kind of what I do is, I get it started and then, find for the next person to kind of take the reins and take it to an even, higher earning, much better service.
You say that you feel that it's time for someone else to come in, look at it with different eyes, and grow it even more. What are some of those areas that you feel someone could take the business in to grow it more?
Well, at the present time, I spend very little time on it as far as marketing or even just, current development and, adding new features. So I think someone coming in and actually attacking the marketing side of it, forming new affiliate partnerships and, kind of getting it out there, even revamping some of the features and doing a full on, what would be called like a relaunch. That would be a great way to get a new flood of customers coming in. Because I haven't, through this point, a lot of it's just been word of mouth.
You have the 2 Facebook accounts associated with the business. You say that you haven't done too much with marketing. So how experienced are the Facebook accounts?
Now, the Facebook, they're actually groups. So it's 2 Facebook groups. And the groups are part of basically when they purchase the plugin. That's just, in the past you used to do forums where, you had a forum attached to a product where people can come and ask questions. And I knew that, forums were dying out. It's very hard to get people to kind of keep on coming back to forums. So we decided to do a group. And, I've had good success with the group. It stayed pretty active, considering that it's now almost 4 or 5 years since the product originally launched. We still have people coming in and asking questions and kind of helping each other and starting discussions. So it's a great way to kind of interact with the customer, see what it is they want, see what they're lacking in, if they need any help with anything. And that's mostly what I've used it for. I have used it for sales whenever we're selling something that's, sort of like a related product, whether we've developed a plugin that, helps the type of websites that they build. Or also, when I did eventually release the SaaS app, I also kind of promoted it through the Facebook group, just letting current customers know like, hey, I know you're building these kind of sites already. This is going to definitely help you take it to the next level. So we have used it for that, but I haven't used it as much as I could just because there was a period of time when my wife and I and our kids were actually traveling for almost 6-7 months on the road. So I was very kind of hands off with the business. And, over the past couple of months or so, it hasn't been used as much as it could be.
So it's primarily used to interact with your current customers rather than find new customers.
Correct.
And there's the email list associated with the business. How large is that, and has that been utilized for marketing purposes?
The email list is the buyers of the plugin, and that has been used for marketing purposes. Not a whole lot, so it's not like the email's burnt out or anything like that. But it's basically just as a way to, one, let them know anytime there's an update, either with the plugin or with the SaaS app, and also, to kind of get them in the loop every now and then. We'll send out an email blast to let them know about the SaaS up, because there's a lot of buyers of the plugin that are actually not even aware that there's a SaaS up, just because I haven't marketed it too much. So, just to kind of give them an overview of what it does and, why it would benefit them, so that, whoever buys the business does get the current buyer list of everybody that's ever bought the plugin.
So what are some of the other opportunities for growth that you see available for the business?
Some of the other opportunities would be to kind of take the existing code base for the app and adapt it to where it could be used for a wider range of applications. Meaning, right now the app, it's very much geared towards users of the plugin. And, it's just got a specific website set up in mind. But there's a lot of features in there that would appeal to a mass market. There's a lot of things we do in there that basically make a lot of the processes of setting up websites click button easy. And the code base is already there. It's just a matter of adapting that code base and kind of widening the range a little bit so that there's more of a mass market appeal, and instead of just, for the specific users of our plugin.
Can you talk a little bit about what the current business model is for the business? Like, how do you make money? Is it primarily from the sales of the software, or is it from the SaaS? And how exactly does the SaaS model work?
So we make money both from plugin sales. So whenever somebody purchases a plugin, that's a one-off purchase. And then there's different levels they can come in from the plugin. That we've got like the intro version, and then one that geared towards developers, if they're going to actually be using this plugin to build websites for clients or websites to sell, which is what I've primarily kind of done myself, is build the websites to eventually flip them once they're earning income for 12 months. And the SaaS is in a monthly subscription, so they will come in and they just sign up on a month-to-month subscription, and then that one's run through Stripe. So all the subscription and everything goes directly through the Stripe account. And, if they happen to miss a payment or anything, it's all handled automatically to where their accounts are canceled, they lose taxes, that kind of thing.
Where do you make the primary bulk of your sales?
It kind of switches month to month. For the past couple of months, it's been the consistent earner has been the SaaS up, just because the members that we do have now have been with us almost since the beginning of when we launched, and they've kind of stuck with it. And, the members that we have now are what I could kind of consider my hardcore builders, because they understand how the process works. They make money with their websites, and they see the value and kind of continuing with the application because they know how much time it saved them. And, I've had a lot of comments from them how, they just don't see how they will be able to go back to doing things the way they were before using the application, just because it does make things so much easier. But then recently, this past month, we actually had the plugin sales surpass the app, just because we ran a Black Friday promotion, and, we got a flood of new people purchasing the plugin, whereas, the plugin hasn't been promoted that much in the past year or so. So whatever sales we did were just, a few here and there of the plugin every month, whereas last month I think we ended up adding about 60 new customers that purchased the plugin for the first time.
So how often do you have to update the software? Going back to what you said earlier, you mentioned that you sometimes have to update the software. Is that a common occurrence?
No, not really. It's rare. Any of the updates that we've offered lately have been to just, anytime if WordPress updates and their update happens to break something with our software, then we'll have to go in and do that. But that's been maybe once a year that's happened. The previous update that I released was almost a year ago. And then recently, now that we're, I mentioned that we were traveling and on the road a lot. But now that we've kind of settled back home, I decided to kind of go through and start adding a few more features just to kind of reignite the user base, get them excited to, that there are good changes coming. So I started releasing some updates, but those were all just basically adding features. There was no need to update. The software worked as it was without the updates. There was just things that I wanted to add personally, for myself, because I do build these websites day in and day out for myself. So, in my testing, I figured out that there was some things that Google was liking a little bit better. So I went ahead and added some features that to be able to, our members to benefit from that as well.
So with that said, do you think that a new owner needs to have that background in coding like you have to be able to successfully run this business?
I don't think they necessarily need to have a background in coding. But, if any time that they do want to do an update, they're going to have someone that understands it. But a lot of there's been some times when I've gone in to do some updates that are outside of my coding knowledge because I'm just self-taught. I didn't go to school for programming or anything like that. So I've jumped on Upwork, and if you know how to use websites like Upwork or Freelancer or anything like that, you're able to find somebody that for $40-$50 can do one of the quick little updates, which is sometimes whether if I'm in a time crunch or like I said, it's outside of my knowledge. I've gone on there and had them do the update so that I can release the update or release whatever new feature I wanted to add.
Do you currently write content and have that published on your site for SEO purposes?
No, not at all.
Is there a reason for that? Do you feel like that's something that could work for a new owner?
I've just never explored that option, to be honest. It's always been, if I wanted to make more sales, what I typically would do is just kind of participate on the online communities. There's a lot of Facebook groups nowadays, even some Skype groups that are pretty active. It's just and forums too. It's just a matter of figuring out what those are and kind of just putting your name out there and, just kind of helping as much as I can. Every now and then, there'll be questions that, obviously I could help out with. So by doing that, people realized that, I kind of knew what I was talking about and they were interested in whatever we had as a service. So that's kind of the approach I've had to generating sales, and which is why, it hasn't been that much growth as there could be because I've never really focused on paid traffic. I've never really focused on, organic traffic to begin with. And, it's just been just kind of word of mouth.
So you feel that the biggest opportunity available for growing this business more is to actually utilize all the different marketing tools available, since that's something that you've never really messed around with yourself. As you said, you've pretty much only done word of mouth.
Yes, yeah, definitely. The more the eyes can see the offer and, get people to it, and whether it's through, just marketing yourself or just recruiting affiliates, because we did have a lot of affiliates when we originally launched. And, the affiliate cycle is just jumping from, launch to launch. So it's not like they've continued marketing. We've got a few that have actually continued marketing throughout the years. And so they've always, been earning affiliate commissions from us, as long as we've been selling the plugin. But other than that, just recruiting new affiliates, getting them to understand the model and to contact their buyers would be a good way to kind of generate more plugin sales, which in turn, once you got them into, the plugin side of things, then they will be interested in learning about the SaaS app.
Are there any big risks associated with this business that you feel a buyer should be aware of?
The biggest risk is, the fact that Google is constantly changing its algorithm. And, the type of websites that we build rely heavily on Google's algorithm. Now, I think that would be a bigger risk if you were buying an actual site built using this method, whereas you're selling the tool that's used to make the sites. But obviously, if the strategy completely changes, then it kind of makes the tool irrelevant. And that's a risk that we've had, for the past 5-6 years that we've been selling this tool. But it seems like that with every Google update we've gone through, and, we've gone through the whole zoo that they've thrown out. We've gone through everything that they've thrown over the years. And it seems like, our way of building sites still works. You just kind of adapt with it. And I think if somebody that buys it is interested in the SEO world and understands it a little bit and is willing to kind of keep up with the changes, then it's just a matter of adapting with, whatever Google may throw out and, maybe adding more features to make it more relevant in that particular space. Then, that's the only thing that I can kind of think of.
How much work are you currently putting into this? You said that you've been pretty hands-off with it for a while.
Yes, I would say it would amount to maybe 4 hours a week. If so, the bulk of my time is spent actually just using the application myself and building the websites for myself. So that's what I do on a day-to-day basis. But as far as like working on the actual business, it's very little because it's just a matter of, kind of keeping up with customer emails. And then, every now and then we'll get a new user that may not understand a certain thing. And so, providing customer support, making sure then they understand the features, or if they have any issues, going in and kind of troubleshooting with them to kind of figure out what the root of the problem is.
So the bulk of your time is just spent on customer interaction.
Correct. Yeah.
Would you commit to a non-compete?
Yes.
And how much support are you willing to offer a buyer during the transition period?
pretty open to it. I'm willing to, I know that it's not your typical just hands off, like here kind of business. I mean, it is hands off in the part that, the new buyer is going to be continuing to generate income, whether they do anything or not. But as far as the technical side of it, understanding how everything works, understanding all the moving pieces, that's going to take some time. So I'm willing to, give anywhere from, 6 months to a year of, just whether Skype communication or email communication or even phone, just so that, the transition can go smoothly. I think ideally, it will benefit the new buyer if, the transition's kind of done behind the scenes without, the buyers knowing that, things are changing hands, so that, buyers don't freak out that, all of a sudden this is going to go downhill kind of thing. And, I'm willing to continue just, either doing webinar presentations and stuff like that, to continue the training for that time period so that, users know that development's continuing and it's not going anywhere.
And I saw something about this on the listing for the site, but I just want to clarify it here. Are you willing to help with the coding for the updates if a new owner, can't find someone yet?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that when I developed the app, I just developed a love for programming and coding. So I love doing it. And, we'd be able to, with the new buyer, we'd be able to set up just a, kind of like private contractor type setup, just an hourly rate, whatever updates need to be done. I do some private programming on the side for larger corporations. So I'd have no problem doing that.
Obviously, the best case scenario is that someone comes along and offers you a 100% cash offer of what you're looking for the business. But if that didn't happen, are you open to negotiations about other types of deals, like, for instance, an earnout?
Yes, I'd definitely be open to talk about that, just because I know that the business does generate income and it will continue generating income. So I have no issue with that. It just, obviously it will have to be something that makes sense for both of us.
Mm-hmm. But you're open to negotiate. And I'm sure that's very reassuring to anyone who's considering that option. Andres, thank you so much for taking the time. I have one final question for you, but before we get to that, I want to run through the quick summary of the business again.
Okay.
The business was built in December of 2015, has a monthly revenue of $6,789, expenses of $1,189 to make for a net profit of $5,599, which is generated on a 12-month average. Included in the sale of this business are 3 domain names, site content and files, an email list, and 2 Facebook groups. Andres, what is your best 30-second pitch on why someone should purchase this business?
I think someone should purchase this business because it gives them a great leg into, if they've ever wondered how WordPress plugins work or selling WordPress plugins, and also the SaaS app side of things, and, a subscription model. Here you have basically everything kind of handed to you. All the hard work has been done. All you have to do is kind of come in and take over, maybe do a few updates. But it's a great business model to be in. It gives you a ton of opportunities because once you understand the WordPress plugin side of things, there's lots of different things out there that you can quickly throw into a WordPress plugin and sell it as a standalone product and make some extra income, which is something that I've done for myself. So this is a great way to kind of learn about that model. And then, like I said, also the SaaS business side of things is, learning how to set up a membership site and the subscription models and getting everything to interact together. All the hard work has been done. It's basically just, ready to go for someone new.
And like you said before, the most important thing is it's making money, and it's consistently making money.
Right.
So, I mean, that's the big appeal to a new owner, right there. And
right.
As we talked about before, there are all of these different opportunities to grow the business even more, especially on the marketing side, if that's something you have a lot of experience with.
Mm-hmm.
Andres, thank you so much for taking the time with me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. And if you want more information, the link will be below the video that will take you to this marketplace listing. If you're watching this on the listing site and want more information, become a depositor today. When you make the deposit, one of our business advisors will be in contact with you, and you will be given everything you need to review this business. Have a great day.